What you doing?
I'm sanding this vase. It's made out of bamboo.
Why aren't you wearing protection?
What? I can't hear you.
Why aren't you wearing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the big channel, the Geek Wife channel. Here she is now, ladies and gentlemen, the Geek Wife.
Hi. I hope you're having an amazing day. First off, I want to address something. A lot of people have been asking why my channel is called Geek Wife It. So I'll tell you, this is a collaboration channel with my husband's channel, Geek and Son. And he affectionately calls me Geek Wife. And he thinks we should carry on the family name with my YouTube channel. So comment down below whether you think that's a great idea or if you would rather I have my own unique channel not carrying on the Geek family name. So tell me what you think.
Boo!
So I have a treat for you today. What we'd like to show you is some of the vintage antique items, some homemade, some hand-me-down treasures that I have here in my kitchen and how I've got those displayed. So first off, my kitchen came with a built-in china cabinet that matches the other cabinetry. And I think that's great and I love it, and I've got some cool things in it. But I had an idea for those of you who don't have something like this and would like to have, you know, some kind of a built-in china cabinet in your kitchen. That really, it could be as simple as just removing cabinet doors, and rather than doing open shelving, which is really popular right now, to take out cabinets and put up open shelving, you could essentially, excuse the real life, but you could just remove your cabinet doors, replace them with glass doors if you choose to, or just leave them off altogether and use this kind of a space to display your dishes, kitchen items, anything that you love and treasure and want to have on display. Alternatively, I'll show you what I've got in my kitchen, which is this built-in china cabinet. This is my china cabinet. I've got all kinds of treasures in here. These are things that I've collected, thrifted, or that have been passed along to me. I'm very fortunate that I come from a long line of women who love beautiful things, simple things. We certainly don't have any Monets in the family. They're all items that have just been collected and loved over the years and passed along from generation to generation. So I want to start with this item. So my paternal grandparents had a bakery in the 1950s, and this scale was in their bakery. When my grandmother got to the point that they had to move her into assisted living, they went through all of her things, and my mom and dad came across this scale and a lot of other just cool items from the bakery. And this was in my mom's kitchen for a long time, and just recently she gave it to me. Funny thing is, years ago I had put a little sticky note on the bottom of it saying, please give to me after 2030, I think. I put just a ridiculous date on it after I knew my mom couldn't possibly still be alive. Because I knew that it was something she loved and wouldn't want to give to me until, you know, the time was right. And at whatever point she came across that note recently, she decided to give it to me as a birthday gift. So this scale has been in my family since at least the 1950s, possibly earlier than that. It was in my grandparents' bakery. And it still works. It's still a functioning scale. So I just have some antique dishes that I thrifted that I've got displayed on there. I also have this pie plate that I came across at a thrift store recently, and that's something that I just love. I think it's really, really cool. It's It's Royal China Jeanette Corporation. It does say microwave oven approved, so I know it's at least from the 1970s. But in my kind of research on it, I think it was from kind of early 1970s era. And the value on it when I looked for it is about $25 that they're selling for. I paid $2.99 at the Goodwill. So this was a great find. I love it. I think it's super cool. So inside my cabinet, one thing I try to do is do a mix of not only modern items, but vintage items. And I always look at doing wood, white, and some other kind of natural kind of decor, greenery included as well. One of the things that I love about these items are a lot of them came from either my grandmother's or my great-grandmother's, and I have a few pieces that even belong to my great-great-grandmother. And for those of you who have been fortunate enough to receive items that have been passed down from the family, I want to share a little tip, trick, or just heartwarming item with you, which is these items that I have. One of the things that my grandmothers and my mom did for me was to write a little note at the point that they gave these items to me and tape it to the item so that I have the story from our family as to why we kept these certain items. So this is specifically a silver ladle. This was also used in my grandmother's bakery, and a little note from my mom as to where this came from. I love that because certainly it focuses on the family history that are associated with a lot of these items. And it gives a little life and a story behind these items. So I've got another item I want to show you. These two items belong to my great-great-grandmother. So they're from the early 1900s. And again, my grandmother included the little story behind this. So this is what it says, that this little basket was my great-great-grandmother's, and she kept a set of candlesticks with it as well. And she gave this to my grandmother in 1933. This note is from my mom, and she says, "Now I'm giving it to you. Value is not the important thing. It's the thread from memories created that tie our family together." And so I just love that. She gave this to me for Christmas in 2019. So I've had it for just a couple of years, but you know, certainly this is something that's been in my family for well over a century at this point in time. And to have the story associated with it, I love that. This bell is another item that was my great-grandmother's, and so to have some of these items, really special, and I hope that at some point in time as I pass these along, that I'll be sure to pass along the stories that go with them as well. So I love the idea to do a large center point to kind of draw your attention. I have a fruit bowl in here. These are real. They're getting a little bruised and battered. So soon as fall comes along, we'll replace it with some pumpkins or some other apples and those kind of things. This is another plate that I thrifted recently. that kind of ties the whole apple theme together. I'm not quite sure what I want to do for the fall yet, but you know, I love the idea of having kind of a theme to it, even though it's all natural elements that play together. The other thing that I did was I had an entire tea set, but having all these little teacups and things is difficult to display. So rather than having lots of little pieces that maybe would come off a little bit cluttered or difficult to kind of stack and those kind of things, I put them all in this basket so that I could still have them on display, but they're protected and they're kind of more enclosed where, you know, it has a little bit more pleasing look to, you know, those who are looking at the display. So beyond that, just lots of cool little pieces that have been passed down from my family. They all have a story that go with them, and so I love that piece about family, you know, the family history behind all these little pieces. So that is kind of the display. Some cool things. We've got some Crocs. This Ozarks Pure Honey was a cool find that I found recently at a thrift store. And you know, like I said, lots of pieces that have come from my family. So I really encourage you, as you have the opportunity, to write down those stories about the items that you have here in your kitchen that have been passed along. There's just a heartwarming element to do that. So I encourage you to do that. Thanks for watching. Go over to my husband's channel, Geek and Son, or encourage your husband to if he likes all things greasy and likes to fix things. That is my husband's wheelhouse. He does a great job with that. And hope you have an amazing day.